Shalom, shalom. First thing and foremost, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah, Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and to the elders of Great Millstone for teaching this truth according to the Bible. A sincere shalom to all the fellow laborers who push this truth, teach this truth, and believe in this truth, as the scriptures tell us to do so here in these last days. And this video is from Richie from Boston. Okay, he posted like a 2 hour and 30-minute video going into, the New World Order, okay, which here you see in the title, USA 2025, New World Order, Secret Societies, okay, so you can go to this channel and watch this whole video, but I'm just going to play a part of it. Now I'm going to let it play. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to my scriptures that I already have lined up, and from about 11 minutes on, okay, they're going to go into a lot of things that are very relevant and are actually the fulfillment of prophecies that we're living through today. Okay, this is a whole documentary on the history of the occult, okay, the Illuminati, how they came to be, the role that the Rothschilds and the international banking families play in what the world we live in today looks like. Okay, the fact that they own everything, the fact that these people have an ultimate goal, which we teach all the time, every week. Okay, but this lesson, really, there's so much information in this lesson. You could go for hours and hours just pulling precepts upon precepts. So what I'm going to do first is just hit these precepts that I already have pulled up. Okay, the first one I have is Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 6. Okay, because the monetary system, all right, is definitely the foundational control that they have over the world. Okay, the banking system. Okay, when people can no longer participate in commerce. Okay, that is the most, that's probably the strongest form of control you can have over a person. Other than spiritual control, it is financial control. All right, you telling them how they can spend their money, how much the money they can have, and eventually that's going to lead to Revelation chapter 13. Okay, we know verse 16 on down. Okay, the MOTB, where they're going to have to implement this microchip that's going to cause, okay, all these people that think that, they have their savings and their bank accounts and their 401ks and their retirements and their IRAs and their stock portfolios, all of that is going to be taken from them. And the only way to get some semblance of life back, okay, after the chaos is to take this device that they're going to force upon humanity. Okay, so let's start here in Habakkuk 2 and 6. It says, shall not all these take up a parable against him? And him is Esau Edom, the beast system. Okay, NATO and the EU, which is controlled by the international banking families, against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. How long? And to him that ladeneth himself with thick clay. And that word for clay in the Hebrew we go into all the time is Gabar-yah, okay, which means debt, which is really what the United States dollar is. It's an instrument of debt, okay? It's not real money, okay? Meaning you can never generate wealth, okay? You can never generate actual money with debt, okay? Debt can only increase, especially now that they put interest rates on it, which is usury, which is against what the Heavenly Father has ordained. Okay, but Esau Edom is just a evil, wicked individual. Okay, and as a whole nation, they're evil and wicked, and this is their system. Okay, the reason why Americans are feeling this sudden sense of doom and this sense that they've been lied to and tricked and that they've been led into a trap that is going to enslave them for the rest of their lives is because these Edomites ultimately they were down with this system. Okay, they were okay with it as long as it didn't affect them. All right, now that it's starting to affect them, okay, nobody can afford anything anymore. These Edomites, okay, are starting to complain. And the elites, they're going to use and manipulate the media to have these low-level Edomites to put the blame ultimately on Jake, okay, you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Let's get another scripture. Job chapter 20, verse 23. I'm going to get my scriptures first because I'm going to allow this video to play for a while, all right? So Job 20 and 23, it says, When he is about to fill his belly, Yahweh, the Most High, shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him. And how is he going to do that? Well, he's going to destroy his power structure by sending Yahweh Shai back in an armada of angels. Okay, he's going to destroy America through the missiles. Okay, he's going to destroy America with the chariots of Israel. Okay, and then also the Western European nations that are a part of this system, this beast system, these Edomite nations, they're also going to be destroyed as well. They won't be completely destroyed. Okay, America is going to be completely destroyed. Okay, but they're going to lose all of their authority and influence in the world. Okay, because there's going to be an invasion from Yahweh Shai, and he's going to cast down all of their authorities. It says, God, which is the Most High Yahweh, shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. And while he's eating is, his world domination, his implementing of his new world order. Okay, they're going to be allowed to accomplish this to a certain degree. They're going to be allowed to accomplish what they want to do to a point, okay, to an extent. They have a boundary that they cannot cross. However, the Heavenly Father is going to allow them to pretty much take over the planet. Okay, only the elect are going to be the ones that are going to overcome, that are not going to allow this demon, this devil, Esau, Edom, to affect their faith, to draw them away from Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. And that's what you need, is faith to overcome this system that he's about to throw out, okay, to implement. All right, let's get another one. Job chapter 5 and verse 12, it says, he disappointed the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. What is this? Is their enterprise right here. Okay, NWO, New World Order. Okay, this is and if you look at this little window here that they put under this video, of course they're going to call it a conspiracy theory when it's not even a conspiracy theory. It's very well known that these people are trying to implement this one world government, one world financial system, one world religion. All of it is encased in this new world order idea. Okay, so it says the New World Order is a term often used in conspiracy theories which hypothesize a secretly emerging totalitarian world government. And that's not even a secret anymore. How can anybody call this a conspiracy theory? How can anybody say that it is secretly emerging? I mean, it has been secret for a very long time, but at this point, if you don't understand, okay, what the Heavenly Father is doing and what these people are doing on the left-hand side, okay, you're just blind to reality. Okay, so the New World Order is not a conspiracy theory. It is actually a fact. All right, let's get another one. Psalms chapter 64 and verse 2, it says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, which would be these Edomites. Now I have another one in Job chapter 8 in verse 20. It says, behold, Yahweh, the Most High, will not cast away a perfect man, neither will he help the evildoers, till he fill thy mouth with languishing, and thy lips with rejoicing. They that hate thee shall be clothed with shame, and the dwelling places of the wicked shall come to naught. So the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, DuPonts, Gettys, Oppenheimers, Vanderbilts, okay, they are going to lose everything. Their dwelling places are going to come to naught, which is the opposite of what they actually think in their own head. They think they're actually going to be able to accomplish their goal. Let me get this. Their inward thought. Let's see if that comes up. Let's get it in their inward thought is that their houses shall continue. Let's get this. Psalms 49 and verse 11. It says, their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever. This is what these Edomites think, these top elite Edomites. And then the lower level Edomites think that, their house in general, their nation is going to last forever. They're going to dominate the world forever. The American spirit, America's never going to go down. You know, that's their inward thought. It says their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names, and we know who that is. Okay. You just look at all the towns and cities in America. Even America itself is named after one of them. Okay. Africa is named after one of them. Okay. So all their cities and towns and they name land masses after themselves because they think that'll never change. They think that, you know, they're going to dominate and be over the earth for all eternity, which is not going to happen. It's actually going to be the opposite. The Israelites are going to own all of the earth forever underneath Yahushai. All right, so let's go to this video. I'm going to let it play. I'm not going to interrupt, or I'm going to try not to interrupt, but there's a lot of good information in here. So I recommend that everybody go watch this entire documentary here. So we'll start.
Well, join me. I'm glad to sit here at the right hand of Satan. We have a world government.
That this goal exists.
Pat Robertson has written in a book a few years ago that we should have a world government, but only when the Messiah arrives. He wrote, literally, any attempt to achieve world order before that time must be the work of the devil. Well, join me. I'm glad to sit here at the right hand of Satan.
The primary driver of the New World Order is religion. After all, people act on what they believe. Financial control is the means by which the New World Order funds its primary tool, which is warfare. We must first understand the tool of warfare before we can grasp the matrix of control being applied to us. Once we understand these systems of control, we can then understand the belief systems of those who are controlling us. All this knowledge is necessary to form strategies of resistance to what you are probably not even aware of. But how did this mindset, control system, and tool of warfare get created?
By the way, before I go any further, I'm just going to say fair use, fair use, fair use. This is for educational purposes only. Fair use.
All secret societies trace their origins back to the ancient mystery religions practiced in Samaria, Egypt, and Babylon. These ancient mystery religions were responsible for keeping a closed population in total subservience to a small elite, which were worshipped as gods, or as intermediaries between the masses and the gods. Knowledge is power. If you know when the next solar eclipse is going to occur, and others around you don't, you can demand a lot from a primitive society when you threaten to darken the sun. People with secret knowledge of astronomy are going to try to keep that knowledge to themselves. The moment they share that knowledge, their power over any society is eliminated. Large groups of people can be held in check by belief systems given to them by a tiny elite, which keeps a core of knowledge to itself. This is why the most powerful groups in any society operate in secret. In fact, the word occult does not mean evil. It means secret. You are not supposed to know the secrets of the elite. Once you discover and verify these secrets, you'll be shocked at how the elite control you.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society, and we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment. That I do not intend to permit to the extent that it's in my control. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed. Government at all levels must meet its obligation to provide you with the fullest possible information outside the...
By the way, when he died, okay, when JFK was assassinated, all right, he was basically going against the Israeli lobby, which was attempting to manufacture, or he wanted to inspect the Israeli nuclear weapons program, and they didn't want him to. Okay, and this speech that he's giving right now, okay, many people believe, and I also believe, that he was talking directly to the Israeli Knesset. Okay, he was talking to the Masada, okay, or the Mossad, which is their basically like their CIA, their international intelligence agency. Okay, and he was well aware of the attempt to take power within the United States by these people, and he was not going along with their program. So, as you can imagine, what happened on that day, I believe it was in Dallas when he was assassinated. Okay, now people are starting to put the pieces together on why this man was taken out by the little hats.
narrowest limits of national security. And so it is to the printing press, to the recorder of man's deeds, the keeper of his conscience, the courier of his news, that we look for strength and assistance, confident that with your help, man will be what he was born to be, free and independent.
While other cultures were practicing pantheism, the monotheism of the Israelites kept them unique. When the Israelites were true to their faith, they prospered. When they began to observe the teachings and practices of the surrounding cultures, the Israelites became oppressed by the civilization.
And that's the story of the Bible. That's what we keep telling you Israelites out there. And he said it at the beginning of this sentence. You know, the thing that was unique about Israel, okay, the Israelites, is that we worshiped a monotheistic God. We worshiped the one and true living power. All the other gods of all the other nations and all the other empires and all their pantheism, which means multiple gods, okay, they were all fake. Our power, which is Yahweh, he is an actually living entity. He's a living being, okay, and he created everything. And that's what is unique about the Israelites, okay? This occult, this secret knowledge, this secret wisdom, okay, it all goes back to the beginnings post-flood, all right? And I say it all the time. If you look at the story of Nimrod, let's just get that real quick, okay? I'm not going to stop too many times, but I just want to add this. Let's get the story of Nimrod, all right? Slack probably didn't spell that right. In Nimrod. Okay, right here, Genesis chapter 10. Okay, it says, and Cush begat Nimrod, and this is very significant. Okay, Genesis chapter 10, which is the table of nations. Who was the first nation after the flood? Okay, after everybody on the planet was destroyed. Okay, so basically humanity has to start over. All the knowledge is lost. Everything is gone. All right. So how do we have everything that we have today? From 8 people that survived the flood: Noah, his wife, his sons, and their wives. From those people come all of humanity. And you're reading about Cush, okay, which was one of the sons of Ham, which was the son of Noah, okay, and Cush begat Nimrod, okay, so Nimrod would have been Noah's great grandson, I believe, okay, his great grandson, the son of Cush. Nimrod was the first man, a Hamite. Today you would call them a so-called African. Okay, what kind of African? There's different tribes of Ham. Okay, you have Cush. Cush is what we call today the Ethiopians, the Cushites. Okay, Nimrod would have been an Ethiopian. Nimrod was the first man post flood to establish an empire, to establish a world dominating empire, a nation that dominated all the people that were under him. Okay, so it says, and Cush begat Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. It says he was a mighty hunter before the Lord Yahweh. Wherefore it is said, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord. Okay, that is a very significant verse to what we're watching. It's an actual saying that these people, the elites, use, okay, that they say, even as, which means like unto Nimrod, okay? It says, like unto Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord. Read it in the NLT. It says, since he was the greatest hunter in the world, his name became proverbial. People would say his name is like Nimrod, the greatest hunter in the world. Let's get this word for hunter. Okay. Was he hunting deer? Was he hunting antelope? Was he hunting buffalo? What was he hunting? Okay. Let's get the word for hunter is Said or Tasaid.
Strong's H 6718. Sayid. Sayid.
Said. Okay. What does it mean? Okay, it says outline of biblical usage: hunting, game hunted, provision, food supply. So Nimrod was a mighty hunter. Okay, let's actually right here it says catcheth, thus taken, food, hunter, that's what he took in hunting. Okay, let's see. I want to get the word for mighty. Let's get this word for mighty. Mighty, Gabar. Okay, Gabar. Okay, what's the biblical usage? Strong, mighty, masculine noun, strong man, brave man, mighty man. It could also mean warrior. Okay, that's what Gabar means. It's where you get the name Gabriel, Gabar-yah-ahla. Okay, anything that you, when you put that word Gabar in front of the Hebrew word Gabar in front of anything, it automatically puts that prefix in front of strong man, mighty man, or warrior. Okay, so Nimrod was a mighty hunter. Okay, now Nimrod wasn't hunting animals. Okay, Nimrod was hunting people, nations. Okay, this is why this saying is something that the occult leaders use. Okay, we keep reading. It says, and in the beginning of his kingdom. Okay, so Nimrod wasn't just hunting animals; he established a kingdom. Reading NLT, he built his kingdom in the land of Babylonia, which is in the where? Which is in Mesopotamia, which is now called the Middle East. Okay, he built his kingdom in the land of Babylonia. Back to the KJV, it says the beginning of his kingdom was Babel and Erech and Akdad and Kalen and the land of Shinar. So this is in Mesopotamia. Okay, so he's conquered multiple lands. He was a conquering warlord. Okay. Now, how was he able to do this? How was he able to establish the dominance over so many lands in such a vast area? Okay. This is what the elites. And really, this is what the elites and the occult leaders and the religious leaders and these black magic magicians, this is what they all study. They all go back to Nimrod. They want to know how he was able to dominate and conquer the world. Because after Nimrod, okay, the goal of every empire that has ever reigned on the earth, the goal is to conquer and dominate planet Earth, to rule the world. Everybody's had their chance. The Egyptians had a chance. The Assyrians had their chance. The Babylonians, the Neo-Babylonian Empire had their chance. Okay? Even the Chinese Empire had their chance. Okay? The Greeks had a chance. The Romans had a chance. Okay? All of them get their knowledge from the ancient religious occult practices of Nimrod and what he did. Okay? They say if you want to learn how to become a master of something, you got to study a master. Nimrod was considered a master. Okay, he was considered someone who was the first to be able to do what he did and conquer so many peoples and lands. And that's what these people are doing today. That's why at the beginning of this, he said what? Okay, let's go get this. Let's get this one more time. Let's get this. Back to 11 minutes.
By night, in
Slacky, I'm just trying to get the right point.
Driver of the new.
Listen very carefully to what he says.
Well, join me. I'm glad to sit here at the right hand of Satan.
The primary driver of the New World Order is religion. After all, people act on what they believe. Financial control is the means by which the New World Order funds its primary tool.
And that's what Nimrod established, was a religion. Okay? He captured the minds of the people that he was ruling over. Okay? Which is why all religions go back and get their very basic roots from that Nimrodian, ancient Babylonian religious practice and system. Okay? They all go back to it, including Christianity.
Which is warfare. We must first understand the tool of warfare before we can grasp the matrix of control being applied to us. Once we understand these systems of control, we can then understand the belief systems of those who are controlling us.
So everything that we're learning today, okay, the system that we live under, the nation of people that we live under, this is nothing more than an attempt by another nation, another heathen nation, because we're living in the time of the Gentiles, all right? This is the time where the Gentiles, everybody, all the Gentiles get their shot at attempting to rule the world, okay? And the time we live in now is Esau Edom. He's getting a second chance. He's getting a second shot at trying to rule the world. And, you know, of course, they're going to implement the ancient practices of Nimrod. All right. So everything you see, the Illuminati, the occult, Christianity, white nationalism, Western superiority complex, America, national pride, that's all nothing more than the Edomites of the Bible, just a nation in the Bible whose turn it is, attempting to dominate and subjugate the planet Earth under their rulership, and to upset prophecy. Okay, the prophecy states that there's another nation coming right after Esau Edom that is going to dominate and rule the world. And that's the Israelites, the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American man. And the Edomites do not want to give up their power. All right?
All this knowledge is necessary to form strategies of resistance to what you are probably not even aware of. But how did this mindset, control system, and tool of warfare get created?
How did this mindset and control system get its beginnings? Watch.
All secret societies trace their origins back to the ancient mystery religions practiced in Samaria, Egypt, and Babylon.
The ancient secret religions. Let's hear that again.
All secret societies trace their origins back to the ancient mystery